Hello and welcome to another episode of Rob's Ramblings here on the Bucks and Six channel. And today at the Brown Table of Sports Card Collecting, I'm going to slow things down. I've noticed in my most recent episodes, I've been real into showing my new pickups and kind of excited about the shiny new things that I've been finding in the hobby. And today I want to slow things down and just kind of appreciate some of the vintage stuff that I had from when I was a kid. Because when I look back at my collecting, I really have two very distinctly different eras of collecting. I have my childhood time, and then I took a very long break, and I then have my adult collecting. And what I found is when I look back at the cards that I collected as a kid, I think I have a better and more deep appreciation for those cards now than I ever did as a youngster. So I do enjoy going back and looking at those cards, and these cards aren't necessarily the flashy shiny cards. They're definitely not the cards that are in real top condition. I mean, some of them are. I took care of my cards as a kid, but these are not cards that are ever going to be graded out at 9s or 10s if I sent them in. So I just appreciate these cards for what they are, and I definitely have a different perspective on the players on them. For instance, the first couple of cards I want to show are Reggie Jackson. Now, this is the 1977 Topps Reggie Jackson, and back when I was a kid, Reggie Jackson was not a beloved Major League Baseball player by Rob at all. He was a villain in my eyes. His teams, the Yankees and the Angels, both were adversaries of my team, the Brewers, back then. The Yankees knocked the Brewers out of the playoffs in the strange 1981 playoff year where they had, because of the strike, there's a lot of strange ways that they handled the playoffs, but the Yankees beat the Brewers, and never did like the Yankees, never really did like Reggie Jackson. And then, of course, in 1982, Reggie Jackson was playing for the Angels, and my Brewers ended up beating Reggie Jackson and the Angels in the American League Championship Series. But at any rate, I don't think I really appreciated this card very much when I was a kid. But now, just looking back on this, the simplicity of this 1977 design and just the simplicity of this photograph really has drawn my eye. I really like this card. And I contrast that with this card from the very next year, the 1978. Same player, same team, but dramatically different photograph with the swing finish photo here. I love that look too. So these two cards of the same player really kind of showcase attractiveness in cards in two different ways. And I know for a fact that I did not appreciate those types of things when I was a little kid. And now, as an adult, I look back at some of these cards that I had in my collection, and I just appreciate them on a whole different level. And so Reggie Jackson definitely is worthy of collecting, and I did not realize it at the time as a kid, but now as an adult, Reggie is one of those guys that I've gone back and I've snagged some more cards. In his post-playing era days, I've got some really nice cards, but these two cards really, really are cool, and I appreciate them a lot more now than I did back in the day. Now, the next guy I want to highlight, I don't even know if I mentioned this at the outset of the video, but I have four guys, and I'm going to show two cards of each of these players back from when I was a kid. These are all cards that I collected when I was growing up in my first era, and now I have a little deeper appreciation. The next one is another 1977. This is a J.R. Richard. And again, for whatever reason, I really like that 77 design. And J.R. Richard, for reasons I didn't really understand when I was a kid, I now, as an adult, appreciate his greatness and what could have been with his tragic stroke that shortened his career and changed the trajectory of his life truly. Love this picture of him as he's in the windup, just ready to throw. And here's another one just a little bit further into his delivery, on the verge of releasing that ball. This is the 1979 Topps. So these two cards, again, I didn't really have a love of J.R. Richard until I got to be much older, have a little bit better understanding of his situation. But these two cards, just beautiful cards. I really enjoy both of those sets. Again, the 77 and the 79, I think, is a very underrated set because it's just difficult to find cards that are centered in that 79 set. But this one is pretty decent. Not perfect, but you know, I think that card has great eye appeal. And so J.R. Richard, another one of those guys that I really enjoyed collecting now, and I didn't really appreciate back when I was a kid. Now, the last two are two guys that I have talked about on the channel before, and I am going to mix in some non-tops. I've got a Fleer. This first one is a 1982 Fleer George Brett. And this card, I remember always loving this card as a kid. For whatever reason, I'm a sucker for any card that's got kind of the dirt kicking up in it. And I just love this look. You can see the ball coming towards George as he's playing third base there for the Royals. I love that powder blue uniform. This card just has always caught my eye, and I really, really love it. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure this is one, I don't know why I haven't yet upgraded it to Slab City. I think I will do that after this video, but right now it's in One Touch Town. I really, really dig this card. I have several other cards I've shown. I know I've shown my catcher cards that I like with the cool action. For whatever reason, I just love that when we've got the dirt being kicked up, kind of keeps the card in reality. That's baseball to me. And then I pair this up here with this another 1977. 77 is kind of the year of the day here for my video. I didn't even realize I had three of them in it, but this is the 77 George Brett. And again, I love that pose. Same guy, two different companies, but it's in two very different photographs, but they're both just eye-catching. George Brett, as a young man, was very early on in his career, is only the third card that ever was made of him in 1977. But now, kind of bridging my collecting eye from when I was a kid till now. I always loved this card as a kid, and I think that plays into why I still love it today so much. And this card here, I had it as a kid, but I don't think I appreciated it nearly as much as I do today. That 1977 design really is one of my favorites. And the last guy I'm going to include today, I know I talk about him quite a bit on the channel, is Robin Yount. He's one of my favorite childhood players. And the two cards I'm going to show of Robin Yount that kind of bring me back to my childhood are both Fleer cards. First one is a 1981, and I just love this card. I don't know really why, but as a kid, I remember pulling this out of a pack and thinking that this was the greatest card ever, just because he's got that smile and that I just love those powder blue uniforms. Robin Yount was definitely one of my heroes back then. Not an action shot. I do like the action shots, but I do like these kind of portrait ones as well that you can really see the player. It's a little bit different. Baseball is a little bit different than some other sports like hockey or football, where they're hidden behind their masks and have their helmets on. But baseball, you really get to see the players' personalities kind of come through in their facials. And the cards, it's a little bit more unique that way. And then the other Robin Yount card I want to show today, this is one of my most underrated sets in my eyes, the 1984 Fleer. And I've shown a few cards from the 84 Fleer set recently. The Don Mattingly I just purchased at my card show a couple weeks ago, but I really enjoy this one. And again, contrasting the two images. One is a portrait, one is an action shot. I love them both equally, but for very different reasons. And this 84 Fleer design is just one of my favorites. You look back on these cards and as a kid, I was collecting 84 Fleer just because it was the thing to do. And, this is a new thing. And the Fleers kind of upping their game, and they were becoming more prominent. But now as an adult, I look back and I can really appreciate what Fleer did with this design. And the Donruss, the same thing. The first three Donruss releases didn't really move the needle for me, but then in 84, both Fleer and Donruss really stepped up, and now I really appreciate those cards so much more now than I did then. So I love these, the way that I can look back at these cards I collected as a kid, and same guy, two different kind of looks. Same thing with the George Brett action, and then the posed image. And I think my J.R. Richard, both of them are action shots, but two very different card designs, two different angles of the man pitching, and then the Reggie Jackson. Again, two very different looks to the images, the portrait and the action. I love both of them. You make me choose which one I like better. I don't know that I could. On any given day, I'd probably tell you a different answer each time, but they're both just stunning to look at. So anyway, just kind of slowing down today, taking a look back on some of the cards I had as a kid and really appreciating them a lot more now as an adult. So with that, I will wrap this up. I hope you enjoyed this episode today. Until next time, enjoy the hobby and stay true to yourself.